Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about high mileage reliability issues for the Lotus Elise. Ours is a 2007 model with 124,000 miles. So there's been a few things that have gone wrong along the way, and I just wanted to talk about how to address them and also what to look out for if you're looking to buy one yourself. Let's start off with the front clam and the rear clam. They are very delicate and very easily broken without any ability to really repair them efficiently. You almost have to replace them if there's any small dents or cracks. This front one here has been replaced before. As you can see, it doesn't have the turn signal, so it just has two headlights in the front, which I think looks nice and clean, and it looks really modern. But this one has been replaced with an Exige clam, and you can tell because the front lip is a little different from your normal Elise. So just be aware, these could be very expensive. I believe the previous owner paid over 15 grand just for the clam, and then you still have to pay for painting it and all that. So if there's any slight damage here, it could get totaled pretty easily, these Elises. So always be careful where you park them and try not to follow too closely with other cars. I'm always aware of where they are on the road so that they don't have any reason to hit us, because this is a small car. Very difficult to see for some drivers. Another common issue is the instrument cluster, and this one is an upgraded version. I think it's called the AIM MX2 or something of that nature. I'll put the actual name on the screen, but this one here is in ignition mode right now, and it has a nice clean interface with the revs and the speedometer in the center, and it even tells you what gear you're in if you don't really know already. It's right there on the screen. The reason we changed it to this is because the previous OEM version broke 3 times, so it's not a very reliable kit, the original speedometer with the needles. Even though I do prefer the analog needles, this one here is more reliable. Since we're in here, we can take a look at the AC controls. So with the AC, it tends to have issues with the resistor. The HVAC resistor is actually in the front, so you need the front clam removed in order to access it. So if you have the front clam removed already, definitely change out the resistor packs for your AC so you don't have any reliability issues with your air conditioning not working. While you also have your front clam off, it's a great idea to change your radiator. The original radiator is made out of plastic and is prone to leaking, so it's important to go with an upgraded aluminum one, which we have right here. This is an aluminum triple bypass radiator, so you don't have to worry about any leaks in the future down the line. So definitely get that done if you have the front clam on your Elise removed. Let's go take a look at the trunk here. This is where the engine sits, since it is a mid-engine car. And it is a Toyota power plant, so it is very reliable. You don't have to worry about any major issues. It's really just general maintenance. So what I've done is changed out the spark plugs recently, changed the oil every 3,000 to 4,000 miles, the oil in the filter. I also change out the air filter, which is right there, every 10,000 to 15,000 miles. This is a custom air filter with a cone, and I have a video on how to do that if you would like. It makes the car sound a lot better. The thermostat has also been replaced as well on this car. Since it is high mileage, it's definitely a good idea to change that out for cooling purposes. We do our transmission fluid changes, or the manual transmission fluid is done every 50,000 miles on this car. You could even do it a little earlier if you'd like, but that's just for peace of mind. This is actually the second engine for this car. The first engine failed due to the oil line recall, which hadn't been done on the car from the previous owner. So the oil line slipped off and it ended up leaking all the oil, which caused the engine to fail. And that was around 60,000 miles or so. This current engine is at 62,000 miles, so it's actually a second engine, and it's been very reliable so far. And it has the oil line recall issue fixed, so there will be no more issues with the oil lines slipping off and leaking the oil everywhere. These engines are also known to have cam wipe issues or camshaft issues, so for peace of mind, we replaced our camshaft with the upgraded hardened camshaft from BOE, and I have a video on how we did that. It allows the car to be more reliable too, in terms of not having to deal with this cam wipe issue in the future. The valve cover is also painted red, which we done at the time just to match the interior of the car over here. So that's also red, and the brakes are also red too. So just a nice accent throughout the car, and you can see it through the grille over here, which is pretty neat. If you go on this side over here, the drive belt has been changed along with the alternator and AC pulleys. So we made them a little smaller to give a little more power. They're underdrive pulleys, and since you have a new belt in there and new pulleys and tensioners, that's going to last for another lifetime as well. These are our tires, and they were changed in 2023, which is about 2.5 years ago. Still going strong. There is no issues with tires and consumables and brakes on this car because it's super light, and things just wear out much slower on this car because of how light it is, which is less than 2,000 pounds. The shifter we have on this 2007 model has a blue plastic ball on the center point that broke at one time, and it ended up being undrivable. So it left the previous owner stranded in the middle of nowhere because he had tried to shift and just pulled the whole entire shifter out of the floor. So this has been replaced, but just be aware that if you have the blue ball shifter, which I think is 2006 models and beyond, you might have to deal with that issue later on. I put a gated manual shifter so that I can put less stress on that plastic blue ball shifter in the center, because there's a gate. It kind of limits your firmness on your shifts, and it allows the plastic ball in the center to last longer because there's not as much stress on it. And of course, the gated manual just looks and sounds cool. I also had the common start button issue where you push the start button and there was a slight delay in when the car started. And sometimes over time it won't start at all anymore, so it'll leave you stranded. So I replaced the start button and the relay and behind of it, and now the issue's been addressed. So if you have a delayed start when you push the button, try replacing the start button and the relay that connects to it at the back of the button itself. I highly recommend getting the lithium ion battery from Anti-Gravity, just because the original battery, which is a lead acid battery, tends to leak, and if it leaks, you're just going to have issues here in the back trunk. So change this out to a lightweight battery. Not only do you save weight, but you also have better reliability, and it won't leave you stranded compared to a traditional battery. These lithium ion batteries are about 3 to 4 pounds versus the original battery is almost 40 pounds. So try to change that out as soon as you can. And I believe that's pretty much it. This car is super reliable. Again, it is a Toyota engine, so it's meant to be reliable, but it's also very fun. It revs to 8,500 RPM, and it has an amazing sound and feel, the way it handles. The car is a true driver's car, and if you're worried about the cost to maintain and own one, I don't think you should worry. So to sum up, like, the major issues for this car, it's really just the camshaft, if you can address that, and also the shifter if you have the newer blue ball shifter with the plastic in the center, that can possibly give you an issue down the line. The start button can also give you an issue here and there, but that's easy to fix and very cheap. The front radiator can leak, so get that addressed, along with the HVAC resistor pack for the AC, just to give you reliable AC. Make sure that your oil line recall issue has been addressed, so you don't have to worry about losing an engine. That's pretty simple to get done at your nearest Lotus dealer. Please leave comments down below on your experience with these cars or any questions that you may have for me. I can gladly answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good afternoon.